Hello and welcome to the Growing Green Landscapes Podcast with Jeremiah Jennings. While still in his early 20s, Jeremiah already runs a successful six-figure lawn maintenance company. Listen in as he and his guests share the things that have brought them success that can help you in your business. As a young entrepreneur in the green industry, Jeremiah emphasizes the tips and tricks involved in running a lawn maintenance business while discussing the principles applying to all small businesses. If you're wanting to grow, become profitable and professional, you're in the right place. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Growing Green Landscapes Podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the podcast. It is a joy getting to bring these episodes out to you all this time of year. It's fall time, heading into we're heading into fall, coming out of summer, and the leaves are starting to fall. All the lawn maintenance companies are going to start slowing down here soon, going to do a lot of leaf cleanups and stuff coming around the corner, and there's just a lot of different stuff. Snow's coming for all you guys up north. Snow is coming, so we're going to try to bring on a lot of guests to talk about snow, some different things with the holiday lighting, and all the fun stuff coming up if you're listening live here at the time of the recording that is going to be coming here in this upcoming season. But today we have another guest episode for you today. It's the ones that I like doing the most. As I always say, I can talk a little bit and bring you some good content, but I always like getting on here and talking with some guests that can bring better perspectives of things that I can't really relate to, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. So today we're going to talk with some guys out of our local networking group. I've talked to y'all about how important networking groups are and the relationships that you meet out of them, and I've grown great relationships with these guys here, and we have with us Chris and Derrick from Adspark. They're right here out of Trussville, Alabama, a local company, and they're an ad agency. So I'm going to kind of let y'all kind of sit back and tell us a little bit of how y'all started and kind of what got you to where you are today, and then what kind of services y'all offer, and just go into the marketing and the abilities to market online, EDDM, all the stuff that goes into marketing for people like myself, entrepreneurs, small businesses, all the companies out there that are listening. So, Chris, if we want to start with you, you just kind of bring us up to where we are today.
Sure. So, we started the business in 2007. Derrick and I worked in radio and for Crawford Broadcasting, which owns WDJC and which is a Christian music station, and then 101.1 The Source, and it was a news talk station at that time. And anyway, we worked there and we're good friends, and anyway, just gained a lot of experience there at the radio station. And he ended up leaving and going and pursuing another career path, and kind of moved into an agency world while I was still there. And then one of the negatives to radio is that when you have a radio station, if it isn't meeting the needs or the expectation of the owner, they'll change the format, and that's what happened with News Talk Station. And I just felt like it was time to move on myself, and so started the agency in 2007, and then the housing market kind of collapsed in 2008. Which was a fantastic time to start a business. Yeah,
you picked a great time to get into it.
Right, and so Derrick, actually, he was kind of doing some freelance stuff with me, and anyway, it led to him coming and joining, and so anyway, we were making it work in 2008 and 2009.
Yeah, one of the toughest times to start. I was alive, but I don't really comprehend what everything that happened. I know a lot of the older guys out there that are listening, you can kind of relate to that, and people that started in that time period and really just survived that time period. That's one of the big things that I've heard is like you did what you could to get by. You tried to create as much business as you could.
Yeah, so one of the things that, and I'll say this, we are a small agency, but one of the blessings that really, and we're both believers, and so one of the big things is that the Lord really directed us to be able to do some really neat things, and agencies our size don't typically go into the social media and the or in depth of social media, the email marketing and
digital advertising.
Digital advertising, and so one of the things that we did was really saw the need, and it was really kind of by sheer the clients were saying, hey, our $3,000 radio budget is going to have to be reduced to $1,000 or $500. What can we do? Well, you're not going to be able to do a lot with it, and so we had to get creative. And these clients had great lists already of customers that they had in their database, and so they weren't doing anything with them. And so we ended up doing that, and so it ended up being we were growing in the times that a lot of businesses were closing in 08 and 09, and so and that's where we set ourselves apart from a lot of agencies our size.
I think kind of taken back to us in radio, and one of the things that kind of inspired us to start the agency is we had to work with agencies while at the radio station, and a lot of times it seemed like they did not care about the client. They were just there, place the buy, get their commission, move on. And the way that Crawford Broadcasting was set up, we had to have really good relationships with all the businesses that came on the air.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of back and forth of, we could do this. We could do what they're doing and be able to offer more than just radio. Radio is great, but radio may not be for everyone.
Yeah.
TV may be for someone. Social media may be for someone. So it allowed us to go to these small businesses and say, hey, we can help you, and we can help you beyond just this. And then, going forward into the whole housing crash, all that sort of stuff in 08, a lot of those agencies didn't adapt. They were still kind of back in the mold of, all right, we're going to get our commission, we're going to do this, and we're going to move on. And they didn't last.
Yeah.
So there were a few agencies that we knew the people there, and coming out of that back into 09 and 2010, it was like, all right, they're not around anymore. So, and I think that kind of speaks to what we were able to do, and kind of, hey, we're here actually for the client. We're going to adapt with the situation. This isn't about us playing golf on Fridays and taking our commission and going home. This is about, hey, how can we generate results with whatever the budget? And I think that that's something that we have always kind of strived. When we sit down with a new client, it's like, hey, we're not asking for all this money. What do you have right now? What can we make it work with this? And then let's just kind of grow. You give us your trust, we will give you results. So that's kind of how we've done that.
So it sounds like y'all kind of you moved into the digital marketing, and that's what you brand yourself as a digital ad agency, right? Am I correct in that?
Yeah,
you do more than that.
Yeah,
but
we are a traditional ad agency, but the focus, of course, these days, 14 years into it, I would say predominantly most of the stuff that we do is digital.
And that's kind of where I was going is, so in 08 when you started, were y'all in like the transition stage of like, hey, we're kind of the first, not literally the first company, but in the first wave of people to start digitally advertising? Like, when did that start?
Yeah, I would say one of the things that when we started, the whole, I don't even know how many of the current social media platforms were even around, they were in their infant stages. So I would say that we definitely, especially with Facebook, because Facebook was just really getting into the business side of things. So I always tell people that advertising is a very vague term. It encompasses all. So when we started, we had these plans of, we're going to do TV, we're going to do radio, we're going to do print. That's going to be what we do. And that quickly changed. So I think that traditional advertising today is almost the digital advertising.
That's like what it is.
Yeah. So when you think of advertising, people think of Google.
Yeah.
They think of digital ads. So, but people do still do TV, do radio, that sort of stuff. But I would say that primarily 75% of what we do on a monthly basis is probably that.
Yeah, that's. If y'all hear these knuckles pop in the background, Chris over here got
a little nervous energy.
He's going to have arthritis by the time he's.
Yeah.
I don't know. How old are you, Chris?
42.
22?
No, 42.
Oh, 42 and looking pretty good. He can still get up and down a football field. Tell him about that real quick.
Well, I during the fall football season, I officiate college football for the Sun Belt Conference.
So he can still move when he needs to move. When that whistle blows, he knows where to be, and pretty good at blowing the whistle too. Do you blow the whistle at all, or do you
all the time?
Oh yeah. See, well, you got a Fox 40.
I do have a Fox 40.
That's the best kind.
I'm impressed that you know the terminology.
I'm a basketball coach. I got to have a good whistle too.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, well, the Fox 40 is good.
It's a great one.
A cushion tip.
Oh
too.
man, that makes all the difference in the world.
Easy on the teeth.
Yep. Oh man, that's funny. Well, that's good stuff. So that's kind of how you started. Kind of break down what you do today now. So y'all are your partners now, right? Mm-hmm. So you Chris started it, you grew it. Derrick came on here, left his job in the recession era, and you've grown it to where you are today. Tell us what you're doing. I know you've helped me in my business with website and stuff. But what are y'all actually? What is your target audience? What are you wanting to do?
We work with a lot of home related businesses, but one of the cool things, Derrick touched on it, is that we were able to leave radio, and not, while we heavily believe that radio still works, there are so many things that we can bring to a company that that they, when you have a rep that comes in from a radio station or a TV station or any digital platform out there, because everyone sells digital.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest thing is trying to go through all of that stuff and realize, because if they all claim that they're the best or that they do something different than the other person.
Yeah.
And so what we're, we look at ourselves as consultants where we can kind of sit down, formulate a plan. We already have clients that are already spending money and doing things. So, you have our expertise of saying, all right, well, we've done this with this client, it doesn't work, or we've done this, but this is the way that you need to do it. So, hopefully trying to bring a little bit more of knowledge, to that client. And so if a small business doesn't have a marketing person and they're doing the work themselves, building the deck or doing the HVAC, whatever, if they're out there doing it, and they don't have someone, we can be that person. But we also work with marketing people. If a client is big enough to where they have a marketing person, we work hand in hand. And it's not that we're trying to take someone's job. It's more of we can be an asset to them.
Yeah.
And kind of alleviate them wasting their time meeting with 10, 15 different, different reps that want to come through the door, on a monthly basis. So,
I think that we aid the small business owner so that he can focus on his business. So, you're a small business owner.
Oh, yeah.
You wear a lot of hats.
Yep.
If marketing and advertising and promoting is something that you can take off your plate and just have this one guy that you talk to,
yep,
all the better.
Especially if I'm not good at it. That's one of the things that I hit on a lot of the times is, and you hear this talked about on a lot of different podcasts, but if it's something, as an owner, you need to be doing the work that generates you, that's in your pay grade.
Right.
And if you're not good at marketing, don't waste time on hire out the right people. So hire out an Adspark or whatever company is near you, or maybe you already have one. Hire in somebody that's literally what you do. That's all y'all do. It could take me 2 days, 2 weeks to create a good website, where it can take y'all a day, and it would be 10 times better than what I would. So is it going to cost money? Yes, it's going to cost money. But if you're out there and you're looking for marketing and stuff, just hire it out the right way. Get the right people, the professionals in here to do it, and that's what y'all do on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I think that part of it is just attacking it with the right mindset, because we've met with many business owners over the years, and their mindset is it's going to cost this.
Yeah.
As soon as you label it as a cost instead of an investment, you're kind of already starting off on the wrong foot. You have to realize, we talked about, all right, we've invested in equipment, we've done this, we've done that. Well, you have to invest in people knowing about you. This isn't Field of Dreams. If you build it, they're not just going to come.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that and that's one of the things when we sit down with them is a lot of time it's just like, let's get the right frame of mind of what we're doing here and how we're going to kind of shepherd you through this process.
Yeah, and some businesses, it may be that there's a lot of business owners that are very good at marketing. It gets thrown down where they want to be involved or they want to do it, but it gets buried under all the other things that kind of take precedence. And
they should just be doing things that are higher up in there, things that generate more income for their business.
Right, and we don't charge retainer fees, so as far as us meeting with a client and sitting down and kind of being their representative, it's it's not costing them anything to do that. And then when we, typically how we get paid on as far as the traditional media, when we place that, the media company cuts us a discount, and so if your budget's $1,000, we get 150, but you're still getting $1,000 worth of advertising.
Yeah.
So it really is a simplistic approach, and that's kind of where your dollars are going to your advertising. On the flip side, if we are managing, the email marketing or the social media and all that stuff, then we're talking about management fees there. But again, our goal is, and we've priced ourselves with other companies that do it, and I mean, we are
very competitive.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah. I mean, we're not expensive. So again, I think it's just a matter of priorities. And advertising and marketing, when you talk to a new company or whatever, typically advertising is least thought about or planned in the beginning.
And when it comes to businesses not doing well, it is also the first thing that's cut. Yeah. So, I mean, we learned that back in 08, 09. It's, hey, we're going to slash that. So, because they don't look at it as something that is necessary. It's almost like it's a luxury to be able to advertise, which you can't really look at it that way.
And if it's not done the right way, it's just not going to be. It's not going to be helpful to your business if you're not doing it the right way.
Right.
And you're not targeting the right audience and doing that. Especially nowadays, everybody can go out and put a postcard on a mailbox or a door hanger or whatever. You can't do that with Facebook. Facebook the geofencing and all that stuff that I hear talked about. And I'm not an expert in all that, but it takes qualified people who actually study it and know what to do. to do that type of stuff.
Because those platforms change on a regular basis, just as much as Google. And I mean, when we first started, and doing websites, 10, 12 years ago, you could build in meta tags and you were good to go. And now, the SEO where, it is, the organic stuff is just, there's money being spent on that side. And it wasn't at 10 years ago.
I mean, I think that I don't know how many times we've gone into meetings over the years and we're just, hey, this is the sort of stuff that we do. And we may mention radio. We'll say TV. We're not suggesting that they do it. And the first thing out of their mouth is, I've done radio, it doesn't work. Saying I've done radio, it doesn't work. Or I've done TV, it doesn't work. Or I've done Google, it doesn't work. Whatever they say, things like that, I'm like, did you do it? But did you do it right?
Yeah, exactly.
You advertising on a country station versus advertising on a talk radio station, you're going to get two different audiences.
Yeah.
And then within that, what's your message? What's your deal? What are we doing? So when you break it down, there's how many different variations of doing radio, how many different variations of doing social media. I'm working with one of our mortgage companies right now, and they've introduced a new program to be able to get pre-approval faster. Well, we've put out similar ads, exact same picture, exact same web link, exact same everything, except we changed the message, the actual text of it, and one doubled the results of the other. So it is one of those things that you have to break it down to the smallest degree of what can, encourage someone to click on a link, what can encourage someone to act on that. So I think that when people say things like that, they're really kind of short selling their ability to advertise in those areas. So
for sure. And so Chris, you brought up SEO, and I'm actually glad you brought that up because that's where I wanted to go next. The whole SEO thing is huge nowadays, and I follow people that talk about it all the time, how important SEO is, being high up in the SEO rankings and all that stuff. I don't even know how it all works. Kind of go through the steps of SEO, how to have a good ranking, how to be up at the top, and also hit on some website stuff. Well, go through maybe it goes hand in hand.
Sure.
Maybe the website goes hand in hand in doing that.
Right.
The importance of it.
Well, having a good website is key, and there's a lot of businesses out there that, maybe they had a new website, 5 years ago, and if you're not touching that website on a regular basis, the SEO again is going to falter.
Yeah.
And so the website does lead to the SEO. From a how updated is it? Are you doing the maps and the locators, I think that the big thing is the Google My Business and the maps are a great way of starting. But there's so many directories out there that, I think for a business owner to be able to conquer is really an uphill battle. And so that's where we kind of come in. But then, we encourage blogs. Blogs are a great way. Any kind of activity, where you're doing a podcast or whether you're doing video, you're providing content that, one, allows people to come back to your website. If your website is not being touched or not being changed or whatever, and, there's really no need for me to continue to visit, that hurts the SEO, the organic. And so the more that you provide some new stuff and provide new content that people are going to be coming back, the greater that organic listing and that organic search is going to be for certain keywords and certain aspects of that business. So that's how, and that's what we do. We try to really touch on blogs and blog writing. We do blog writing. And we do that for our clients.
So everything that you just said, it comes across as how important your website is, being ranked in the listings, coming back to the website. The website is almost like the common denominator there, and that's what I've heard.
So your website is looked at as it is. If you have a showroom, it is a 24/7 showroom.
Yeah.
It is open. It never closes. And so the same thing, or it's a salesperson. It's a salesperson that never takes time off. Mm-hmm. And so your website should be both of those. It should be welcoming, inviting, but it also should sell. It should tell. If you're looking for lead generation, if you're looking for people to sign up for your e-blast, if you're looking at selling things, whatever it is, you really need to make that at the forefront of what that website should be. But the big thing is if it's accomplishing what it's we have a jeweler that we work with that he needed to update his website, and we work with clients that maybe they haven't touched their website, but they don't want to. They don't want to spend that money, and so we kind of just sat down with them and just talked to him about the importance of it, and he made the comment that I just don't know if it's worth it. And so, again, this is one of those divine things where we were in there, and I was talking to him, and in comes this older gentleman that had brought in this drawing that he had drawn, and he said, "I want this necklace to be designed for my 16-year-old daughter." Or maybe she was an 18-year-old daughter. She was about to graduate or something like that. And so he was coming in there with this, and he said, the jeweler, took it back to his computer to start working on something or whatever. And I just asked him point blank, and I think that this is where it kind of goes back to kind of that grassroots, that old school, hey, paper works, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But just asking, hey, how did you come about coming in here knowing that they are a custom jeweler? How did you know that? And he said, well, I went to the website. I said, you went to the website? And he said, yeah, I searched custom jewelry, came across, Isbell Jewelers, and lo and behold, I saw the cam, the video cam or whatever. I saw all the drawings and all that stuff on the website. And I'm thinking, okay. So I had him repeat it to the jeweler when he came back up, and I said, see. And after that, he was like, yeah, let's go ahead and invest in it. So again, it's just a lot of businesses. I just don't know if anyone goes to it, or I see these numbers, but I just really don't believe it. And
numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie, and the digital approach of that website can be a great advocate on selling someone and letting them know, hey, I'm comfortable with these people to come into our house to do work, or I feel comfortable bringing my card to get it serviced here, or I really want these guys to come and cut my grass, that sort of thing.
And that's the audience that you're mostly targeting here. That's going to be listening to this podcast. Is there's going to be a lot of landscapers, a lot of lawn maintenance businesses listening to this. So for me, so what is the advantage to say letting a company like y'all create a website as opposed to me going and creating one on Fiverr or whatever those companies are that you can go out and make one on? What are the advantages to having it done by y'all versus me just going out and throwing something together for $100 or whatever and saying, well, I hope people come to it.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that, again, just building it right where, the
just
SEO,
the professional.
From that, from the look and all that stuff.
I'm a big fan of anything where if something goes wrong, I can talk face-to-face with the person that it's messed up.
Yeah.
And so I think that if you're comparing it to a Fiverr, a lot of times you're working with people overseas.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about any of these other companies, a lot of times you're talking to people in other parts of the United States. And then you get into where it's being housed.
Yeah.
Whether you choose to host it through a GoDaddy or something like that. Well, get on customer service with GoDaddy and see how much fun you have that day.
And how long it takes.
Yeah, everything that we do, we host here locally.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong, you pick up the phone and say, hey, Chris, hey, Derrick, here's what's going on. We take care of you.
Yeah.
You're not getting that ability anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I think that, I had to get on the phone with someone the other day, and I felt like I got patched through to like 5 different people and had to repeat myself 5 different times, and it's almost just like, no, that's not what I'm wanting.
It's not worth it.
No, it's not.
So kind of go through, and I know we're hitting on websites hard here, but it's a huge thing that I'm learning about and how important it is. Kind of walk through what are a few options for somebody who's out there that doesn't have a website, or maybe they need to get those redone. Because I know in my case, we built me a web page. Yeah. We didn't build an actual website, and that was a budget-friendly option to get started and get something out there.
Honestly, for what you do and for what most of the people that are probably listening to this podcast, a landscape. If you don't. You don't have to have a huge website, and I think that having a landing page where there's multiple options on that one page where you click on a gallery, you click on information or whatever services rendered or whatever, all of that stuff can be housed on that one web page, and you're good to go. So again, you don't have to overthink it or make it complicated where it's multiple pages and just a headache to work.
Yeah, especially if you're not comfortable. So what are like rough estimate cost breakdown things here? Nothing in depth, but like if I wanted to go out and create a web page, am I looking at $500, $1,000, $3,000, as opposed to a website, a full page, like multiple page?
So a web page, anywhere from $500 on the low end to probably $750, $1,000.
Yeah.
And then from a full website. Just depending on what kind of customization and all that stuff, you're at, on the low side, 3,500 to, 6, 7, just depending on how.
But the size of your business has a lot to do with that.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're running a landscaping company who has 35 crews and 7 different divisions, irrigation, maintenance, fertilizer, then you need one of those websites.
Absolutely.
You need a website where somebody can put in a keyword and it come up on that tab and go click on it and say, hey, call us now.
That's right. That's right. If you do multiple services and, there's different, expectations, it really all depends on that. But again, I wouldn't overthink it. If you don't have anything, definitely start with a web page, and then it can grow from there. But I think building it, we most of everything that we do build is WordPress, and so we love WordPress. It's very user friendly. And the other thing too is when we build a website, we give you the keys. So if you want to make changes yourself, again, if you're really busy and all that stuff, we're here and we can do that at a minimal charge. And so WordPress is very SEO friendly. It's very user friendly. It's very easy to navigate and manage. So, and you don't typically have any issues with a WordPress site.
Well, I think there's no surprises with that too. We've worked with many businesses over the years that maybe they had a website and they're wanting to change out of that website, but for them to change, they have to start from scratch because the business that they're with has the proprietary, technology. They've built the website this way. There is no transferring anything. So it's basically starting from scratch. So we try to be pretty transparent and upfront and say, hey, this is yours. Yeah. Like you gave us money to build this for you. We're not going to try to take ownership. We're not going to hold you hostage. We've worked with many clients over the years where, they fought to be able to keep their URL when transferring companies.
Yeah.
So
wow.
It can be a nasty business.
Yeah. All right. Well, so there's a website. That's went off on the whole website thing there, and the importance of the website is huge, and that's what I've learned over the past couple months. Sitting here talking to y'all from different other people in the industry, website is huge. So let's talk a little bit of what are the different types of marketing besides a website. Say the guy's out there that's starting his business, and he literally doesn't have the money to pay an Adspark to come market for them yet. He just needs to get on a free platform like an Instagram or a Facebook or a LinkedIn, something like that. He just needs to put content out there, maybe boost it every once in a while. What are the steps that somebody starting out like that should take as on whatever those platforms may be, Facebook, Instagram, how to promote that stuff and whatever? Y'all hit on that a little bit and talk about whoever just specializes in that.
I think that, we encourage a first step for businesses like what you're talking about to dabble in the social media.
Yeah.
It's going to be the most budget friendly. And it's also going to be the one that allows you to localize your target a little bit better. If you're a landscaping company out of Springville and you're wanting to hit a 15-mile radius around your place, having statewide coverage on a radio station is not where you need to be spending your money.
Exactly.
But if you can target around where you want to be on social media, you have the ability to post when you want. You have the freedom to post when you want. You can post anything that you want. So it's really about setting up a page. We think that we start with Facebook with everything and then build out from there. Facebook seems to have the most business-friendly capabilities.
It's just taken off.
Facebook
business is huge.
Once they bought Instagram
Yeah.
and everything's kind of run together, you have some more flexibility in doing that sort of stuff. So I think social media is always going to be the most budget-friendly and easiest way for someone to kind of market themselves locally.
Just get into it themselves. And I think what you're saying is huge because, like, for me, and Chris knows this, those of you out there know this, me and my business, we are personally shrinking down big time our radius of where we're going. Mm-hmm. I don't want people 30 miles away knowing that I even exist.
Right.
I mean, maybe they have a friend that lives near me that they could refer me to, but I don't want anybody reaching out to me over 10, 15 miles away.
Right.
So in some cases, the social media might be the best places to go in our business, in a service business who's driving every day. A small business that doesn't have multiple crews to cover different cities and counties and all that.
Well, and it's probably the easiest platform to also go back to your website on because you can backlink to your website constantly, which is going to help with your SEO. So, traditional radio, some other things are not going to offer that.
So do y'all, you might, I'm sure you know this, you're literally an ad agency, but so like the Instagram, say you're not boosting stuff, you just want to grow your profile, something like that. What are the steps? Do y'all know much about that, like the algorithm or all that? Like, I've heard make a post a day or stuff like that. Can y'all hit on that at all and say, does that really help?
So, we have some clients that we have encouraged to post less because they are posting so many times per day, and you feel like they're starting to cannibalize each other. The last that I heard, and it may have changed, but an organic post is only going to reach about 7% of your audience. So Facebook really encourages you to spend money on what they're doing. Now, if you have a large following, that's great. But when you're starting out, it's almost impossible not to grow without putting some money behind it.
Okay.
But I also think that the more posts that you have, just think of it as content that people can follow up with later on once they learn about you.
Yeah.
And there's been plenty of times that, we work with companies, like Chris said, the majority of our client roster is home-related businesses. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of those home-related businesses aren't businesses that you need all the time.
Yeah.
It may be, all right, well, I don't need an HVAC company right now, but I'm going to go ahead and like their page because I saw a post and they seem like reputable people, so that if my HVAC goes out, I can go back and search them. It's almost like bookmarking it. And so then, I may go to that page and I may scroll through and see some of the content that they post that kind of relates to me.
And that's something we talk about on the podcast all the time it's what you're saying is social proofs. That's literally what it does, is social proofs your business because they can get on there and say, oh, look, they have good reviews and they have all these posts. People in clients' houses with pictures with clients they're happy with their work. That's something that it is.
It lends some credibility.
Exactly. Yeah. It gives you credibility of work history.
Right.
You're not just even if you are a new company, get with those first potential clients, those ones that you work with, take the picture of your work and upload it. Even if you're not reaching, even if you only have 50 followers,
right.
Put it out there so when you have 1,000, the new ones coming in can go back and look at that
right.
stuff.
And it's odd because a lot of people kind of fall back on the placing, just talking about social media, placing a Facebook ad that'll run over the course of the month. And that's literally like, all right, I'm going to spend 20 minutes, I'm going to place this ad and let it run over a month, and that's going to be it. And then, I'll run across that. Love to do research on other companies, see what they're up to. I'll click the ad, click the little thing that'll send them to their page. They'll have 3 posts on that page, and the last one's from like April of 2019 or something like that. And you're just like, you did step 1, but you didn't do
follow up.
You didn't do anything. So that person could possibly say, I did Facebook, it didn't work. But again, you didn't do all the steps that are necessary.
Didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, if I'm the person that's looking for a service and I see that, if I see a company that hasn't posted something on their Facebook page in 3 years, I'm not using them.
Right.
And that's,
well, you think that they're probably not in business anymore.
I literally think they don't exist or people don't like them.
Right. And I think the other thing too, and this kind of gets back to your web page, but also social media. Be sure to get reviews. If you're a business that really relies on referrals and that sort of thing, reviews are great.
Preach it.
And so that's one of those things, and that's one thing that we had a client the other day reach out about creating some sort of a review link where they can send out that once they do a job or whatever, send that out to the customer, and it gives them a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Well, the thumbs up, if it's a thumbs up, they can leave the review either on Google or Facebook. If it's a thumbs down, it'll alert you, hey, I've got an issue here that I need to communicate with. And that's the other thing too with small businesses. Small businesses typically you run into some communication breakdowns. And the number one thing is that they're busy doing their job. They're busy going out and servicing whatever that they do. And, maybe they get 50 phone calls.
Yep.
And it's just not feasible to be able to reach out to everyone.
Yep.
So having those checks and balances, and sometimes the brutal, honest truth of us, we'll try to communicate that and say, look, from a customer standpoint, this is going to you're going to lose some people this way.
Yeah.
So communicate. And that's one of the big things that, advertising is communicating, but then, not just hooking them and getting them to call you or getting that job, but it's communicating, hey, ran into an issue, the rain slowed us down, whatever. Let people know, because people, right now we've got an appliance dealer that is really at the mercy of these brands and the manufacturers and all that stuff. And with the pandemic and things kind of slowing down, it's pushed some these appliances not until 2022 to come back. So again, just communicate, be honest with them, and try to have a solution for their problem.
Solutions are that's the key. That's the key, and communication. That's one thing I've learned just in every aspect of life. Like, you have to communicate the right way. If you don't, you're going to lose customers. You're going to lose friendships. You're going to lose family. Like all that stuff.
Right.
It goes back to communication.
Right.
And that's something that is huge to me that I've learned recently. And anybody that's out there that's not communicating, and I'm the world's worst. Like I'm preaching to the choir because I'm that guy that's on the mower that's getting 10, 15 calls a day. And then you got to get home at 5 or 6 o'clock and then try to return those, but don't return them too late because you don't want to mess people up in their night, their evening. And then you go 3 days and you're like, wow, I haven't even called this person back yet. How's that look on your business?
Yeah.
And so it's tough. It is tough. But by having the websites, having those contact, and that's one thing that we did on mine was every website has this, the contact form submission thing.
Right.
Where when they do that, it automatically comes through. And that's nice because they're not calling me. And I hate to be rude, but and everybody out there that's listening feels this way. I don't always have time to talk on the phone with somebody.
Sure.
But if they hit that contact submission form, they send me all their info.
Well, and that's the other thing too with the website. The website can answer a lot of questions that maybe they have.
Yeah.
What kind of services do you have?
Yeah.
What areas do you service? And so a lot of those questions can be now. by Derrick working on social media a lot, you have some answers right there in front of you, and then you still have people that just don't get it. So, that's not going to curb it entirely, but it can curb a good bit of it. And so it allows them to reach you in a little bit more convenient way.
On the website, that's one thing you just said is always have your service areas. That's because like on Instagram stuff, you can do the radius of how far you want it to reach, but on the website, it's going to go everywhere, right? I mean, anybody in the world can look at that website.
That's right.
And anybody in the world can look up your Instagram page, but it's not going to promote to anywhere in the world. So if somebody looked on your website that's 30 miles away, they might say, "Oh, he'll come out here. He's not that far."
All right, so here's a good example. You mentioned geofencing and all that stuff earlier, but we work with a utility company, and they're specifically here in Trussville, and when we were meeting early on when we first started running digital ads, we specifically are targeting just this area. Well, the general manager's daughter, who lives in Hoover, saw one of the ads, and he was like, "Well, hold on here now. We're not hitting Hoover, are we?" And I was like, "No, we're not hitting Hoover." So what can definitely happen when you do have those geofencing and that type of tracking is that if anyone breaks that, and I said, "So did she come and visit recently?" And she goes, "Well, yeah, they were here for Sunday dinner or whatever." And so because they were in the fence, just because they leave, now they won't be served that ad once it realizes, hey, they're out in Hoover.
Back in,
they're outside that area. So she didn't see that ad after that. But again, it's just one of those things that yes, it's not a 100% proof that hey, no one's going to be served that ad. But if they were ever in there, they may work in Trussville, but they live in Hoover, or whatever. So there's a good chance that they could see the ad, but it's because they frequent Trussville a good bit. That sort of thing. So just educating people, because a lot of that, a lot of people can talk over people's heads. A lot of the stuff sounds great, but again, just educating and then trying to bring, and that's what we do.
Yeah, that's totally true. They've done a great job. They helped me build my website and stuff that I had no clue about that they informed me on. So we've talked about what all you need to be doing if you're going to create your own or you're going to hire somebody. These are the key steps in it. Tell us a little bit about Adspark and what y'all actually do for clients. I know we've kind of hit on it here and there, but kind of go into depth right here as we wrap this thing up. What do y'all do? How can you help the listeners out there that need a website or need marketing, however it may be? And you can do it pretty much for anybody in the country, right?
That's
y'all
right.
Go everywhere.
Yeah, we can place. We've got several clients that are outside of the Birmingham area, and so we can place things. And that's the great thing about digital. Digital is so open. It opens up that kind of wherever. But we sit down, we try to talk and go through. And one of the things that we learned in radio is that we can tell you, hey, we're not a right fit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt my feelings. It typically doesn't hurt the business owner's feelings. But, I think the biggest thing is, hey, if we can be of help, we'll be of help. But it may not make sense, and so if it doesn't, then no harm, no foul. But it's more of you get to know us, we get to know you, and if we can be of service, if we can be of benefit, if we can fit within the realm of what you want to spend, we'd love to be able to help and do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we take the title of full service. And full service really is all encompassing, and anything that you think of that can relate to promotions, marketing, digital marketing, traditional advertising, anything and everything we do. And if we don't, we know enough people in the business to direct you to someone that can help you. Mm-hmm. So I know that we talked a lot about social media. We talked a lot about websites, but we do anything and everything from direct mail, postcards, digital ads, social media. I mean, it really is. Advertising is such a vague term to just, hey, we're going to get the word out,
Mm-hmm.
however we need to. So we can get as creative as the budget needs to be. So I think that's kind of us in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's cool, and that's that. What you're saying on the digital thing that we've talked about for so long is true, but I'm glad you brought that up about the traditional marketing, because y'all actually made my postcards. Y'all made awesome postcards for me at a very, very cost-efficient rate. They turned out great, and I used them in my business. So that's actually something people might want to reach out to you, for, because we're going into leaf season here, snow plowing, Christmas lights, all this different services that people are going to be doing. Y'all can create those postcards too as well.
Postcards, brochures, just anything and everything that you want to, market.
Signs, y'all do signage
and all that stuff. So, and that we design things, we can turn things around. So if you don't need us to print it, and actually you had reached out to me about just designing something, and you had some online printer that was going to do it, and we were actually cheaper, and got you, I think, a little bit more postcards.
Way more for cheaper.
Yep. So you had this time frame of, well, this company's running this special, and I need to have the postcard tomorrow, and it was like, well, let me just price out what we could do it. And when I sent you, it was like, all right, well, we'll
just do it.
Yeah, there's no hurry on getting that postcard. I'll just print them with you. Yeah. So again, just because there's live people that you can touch or talk to or whatever doesn't mean that it's more expensive. Our goal is, we're not in the business to starve.
You got to make money. You got to be profitable.
But at the same time, though, we're not out there just trying to gouge people. Our goal is, to make, get results and get the client happy so that they're not going to go anywhere. And that's why we have probably, 20 or so clients that are every month.
Really?
This isn't a short term, and some clients are short term where, hey, it's seasonal, or, I need help with this project, and then you don't see them for a little while. But most of the clients that we work with are every day. And the other thing that I did want to mention is that when we were in radio, we would often, because we were a Christian radio station, we would have a lot of businesses that were B2B, business to business, and it just wasn't the right fit. Being on a Christian radio station, you may hit one or two people that were right, your customer, but our goal was to really talk to the consumer. And so one thing that we have done different with the agency is that we do work with some B2B, engineering groups, some metal groups, some masonry groups, some brick companies that are really just marketing or targeting other businesses. And so contractors, that sort of thing. And so that's where I think that's an area that was always frustrating at the radio station, because we'd always turn them down and say, look, it's not worth your time and effort.
It's not who's going to be listening,
right? And so and some would get upset. I want to. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so now through email marketing, through social media, through web and digital. You can target who you're wanting to target. If it's business owners of this, or if it's this. And you mentioned LinkedIn, and LinkedIn can be a successful avenue, but it's also a more costly, more expensive avenue. And we try to that's really the B2B.
You're reaching a higher end clientele on LinkedIn. Most of the time.
You are, but again, I think Derrick has done the research and all that stuff, and it's like, you have to spend $10 to the $1 that you spent over on Facebook,
really,
to get LinkedIn.
It's significantly more
expensive.
A
lot more expensive to get results, and so that's those are the areas that hopefully we can be of service and benefit to those listening.
Well, that's awesome, guys. I appreciate y'all's time. Where can we find you? Where can everybody out there find you if they want to get in contact and maybe get a website built or some marketing material printed or anything like that?
So our website is theadspark.com. That is AD, 1D, Spark, SPARK.com. So that's theadspark.com. And you can always reach me on my cell phone. I'm more the sales guy that you're going to talk to and all that stuff. 205-910-6279. That's 205-910-6279.
That's awesome. We'll put all that stuff in the show notes so everybody can go. We got links down there. You can reach everybody and contact them when you need to. But I really appreciate y'all's time. This is actually really funny as we wrap this up here. So if you guys have gone back and listened to the podcast, I don't remember, 10, 15 episodes ago, we talked about a major accident that we had. And we actually have the homeowner in the room with us, Derrick. It was actually Derrick's house that we broke the most expensive front doors I've ever seen in my life. But he actually enjoyed it. He told me, he said, man, I'm glad you did it because I got a nicer front door out of it.
We do enjoy the new front door.
Yeah.
So it is one of those. Our house is strategically positioned in where the sun is going to beat it down.
Yep.
And so we were not able to have just a regular wood door. And so the door that was there was some combination of fiberglass, metal, whatever, and it was ugly. It was incredibly ugly. It came with a house. We didn't pick it out. So we had it for years, and, by the grace of God, we were able to get a new one. So
for free. He was ready for it.
So, but I will, Jeremiah and I joked that we should have gone into the door business because trying to get this thing replaced, trying to get glass for it, because our first step was not replacing the door, it was replacing the glass.
Yeah.
And the number of people told me no. I mean, I couldn't even keep count. And then you add in the COVID problems of people not producing products. We thought we'd have found a solution, and then we took it to them, and they said, no, we're not going to produce it anymore. And you just kind of felt like it was like a 5-month no fest. It was like no matter what we did, I was like, you know what? You just kind of get discouraged after a while. But we finally found a company that could come out and do it, and it looks great now.
They do. The doors look awesome.
The door does look great. So
I wondered what that pull-down shade was. I was like, did they have that installed after the glass broke? But is that because of the sun?
It was because of the sun. So it actually cut. If you in the middle of summer, you cannot even touch the doorknob at the front door because it's so hot.
Wow.
And so we started pulling down, getting that shade, and it actually cut our power bill like $30.
Really?
Yeah.
So what we're talking about, guys, is they have this front porch, and it's a big. What would you say? An oval type front door area.
Yeah.
And they got a shade that comes down, just like almost like a shade that you put in.
Just a rolling shade.
Yeah, just a rolling shade.
Yeah.
Comes down in blocks and stuff. And I pulled up after we broke it, and I was like, did he really have that installed after we broke that?
No.
But then it turns out because it was.
Yeah, we put that up probably 2 years ago, but it's one of those things that. It doesn't work if we're not home because there's no one to put it down.
Yeah.
And so, but then you also have to make sure that it's not going to storm.
Yeah.
Because if it storms, I mean, that thing gets blown and sucked up. So, but when the kids are home during the summer, one of their chores was, hey, make sure you put down the thing
so
that the foyer isn't 100 degrees.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but it's actually been really helpful.
Save money.
Yeah, it does. And trying to find something that matched the house that didn't look too tacky because usually those are the shades that go on your back porch. Around the pool area, something like that. So finding something that would fit was not an easy task either. So
well, Chris, where are you heading this weekend?
I'm heading to South Alabama
this afternoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heading out today.
Mm-hmm.
Big game. Who they playing?
Louisiana.
Oh, so you get Louisiana? What 2-3 weeks? You got them again? In 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Billy Napier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How they looking this year?
They're looking good.
Yeah.
But I mean, South Alabama is much improved too.
Really?
So
I think they're undefeated.
I think it'll be a good game.
So it'll be a good game.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy reffing like good games or blowouts?
Oh no, you want to ref a good game.
You want a good game?
Yeah,
unless it's like a 4 overtime game and he's ready to go home.
We've had 3 overtime. We've had 2-3 overtime games in the past. So
really?
No, those are ones that are pretty long.
What are do you get long commercial breaks on these smaller games though? Like you would a big game. I mean,
you get obviously you don't get super long, but I mean they're
still
just under. About 2.5, 3 minutes, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on what network and all that stuff. But
they're not the CBS 7-minute.
They're not. They're not long. Yeah, they're not long.
I'm not looking this weekend. Auburn LSU 8:00 kickoff. It's gonna be midnight before that thing's over.
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Why are you gonna do that at 8:00?
Yeah.
Of all the times.
I know.
But it's not like we're on the West Coast or anything. But guys, as you know, it's football season down here in Alabama. We take it very seriously. Everybody in the South does. So. Got a big old War Eagle from us. What are y'all? Are you?
I went to Bama, so.
Oh, you big old Roll Tide.
I went to UAB, but
go Blazers.
I'm not I can't be a fan anymore.
He is the most boring person to watch football with now because there is no rooting interest. He spends his entire time watching the
refs.
Yeah, we have tickets to the high school games because our kids go there, and so we have the tickets and sitting beside him at the game. It's like he's worried about the officials. I'm looking at the 40-yard pass, and this position official was out of position, and so it's
like, oh, I missed that call,
and I'm like, you know what, you are no fun to watch games with.
Hey, well, I understand that because now whenever I go watch basketball, all I do is coach. I analyze every pass that should have been made, every missed shot. I'm like, I can't just enjoy watching the game.
Yeah, it is different.
Yeah.
You know, I love being there, and but I mean, yeah, if I had to sit in the stands and have to deal with the crowds and all that stuff, probably wouldn't go.
Yeah.
You know, comfort of my own home with the
a big
clicker.
TV,
absolutely,
air conditioning.
Yes,
Yeah.
And you know that does not appeal to me. You know, having police escort to and from the stadium is great.
That's nice. Yeah.
I love that, and you know, being on the sidelines is great.
Yep.
Dealing with the teams and all that stuff, but not dealing with, you know, crowds and concessions and that sort
Drunk
of thing.
people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's the worst part. Getting up there and somebody's yelling and slinging their beer on you and stuff. That's the worst part right there.
That's right.
Well, guys, I appreciate your time for real.
We enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. And I'm glad that we were able to do it.
Absolutely. It's been an honor to have y'all on here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave us those all-important ratings and reviews. As Chris said, they do help. They do social proof the podcast. So if you don't mind, go do that. You can do it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and just leave them for us. It'll really help us social proof and get out there to a bigger audience. We appreciate you listening. We're looking forward to what the future holds. GAE is coming up into the month of October. We just hit October 1st, so you can officially say it's GAE month. We're excited. We're ready to see all of you there, connect with a bunch of people, and hopefully build some more relationships along the way. But I appreciate you tuning in today, and we hope to catch up with you here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green Landscapes podcast. We know you have many other podcast options to choose from, and don't take it for granted that you chose to spend some time with us today. You can connect with Jeremiah Jennings at Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram or use the link in the show description. Don't forget to smash the follow button on the podcast and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. We hope you crush it in your business and hope to catch you on our next episode.